Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Entrepreneur Experiment Ideas Lab with me, Gary Fox. This is now my 6th time recording this as I'm pointing at the camera. This is going on YouTube, so you can check out the Ideas Lab on YouTube every Monday along with the podcast. You'll also get the newsletter, which goes out every Monday morning at 5 a.m. The 3 of them are companions, so each one is variations of the same content. With the newsletter, I would advise signing up, as you can get clickable links to all the stories and books that I talk about every Monday. Okay, let's kick straight into it. A couple of updates to fly through with me. So at this time, I'm currently pivoting my current business. I've hinted at this on social, and I've hinted at this on a number of podcasts previously. I'm in the short-term rentals hospitality game, and obviously that's been decimated by COVID, as with everyone else. I'm not complaining anymore. I'm no more or no less affected than anyone else, but I'm pivoting my business. I've been working extremely hard in the last month or so to get this new idea to a stage whereby we can actually make concrete progress, which we made this week. We got our first pieces of the puzzle, which we're now starting to construct. I'll just say that much for now. I don't want to overhype things until they're actually ready to go, but you can expect to hear more updates. I'm actually going to bring back a section of the pod that people really liked before, which was like a diary style, whereby I chronicled my own startup journey and how I was getting on. So I'm going to bring that back, hence why I'm going to do YouTube, as I think video is a little bit more immersive and rich, so I can bring you to like site visits and I can show you things as we construct them. So that's going to be something we're going to work on. I'm not going to commit to doing vlogs or anything like that, but I will do as much as I can to bring you with me, as I think it's an interesting process. I was literally looking back at videos I'd saved on the camera as I'd already recorded this pod, but halfway through the camera died as it was full. So little things like that are learning. So I'm actually looking for land. I'm looking for between 3 and 5 acres within 60 to 80 minutes of Dublin, preferably forestry. If you know someone that is either selling land or is looking to do a long-term lease deal, put them in touch with me. You get through my website or through any of my social channels. I'm sure you all know by now, Mr. Gary Fox on any socials, and mrgaryfox.com for my website. You can email me, whatever. So that's today. Now, on to the Ideas Lab, why you're here. Actually, ideas for you and stuff that benefits you. Today we're going to talk about the 10 million challenge, or 10 million goal setting exercise. So in September, you've all been doing the ideas exercise with me. We've been doing ideas every single day. A number of people have sent me ideas every single day. Massive commitment, a massive shout out to them. I'm going to reach back out to people who've sent me ideas, and if any of them are pursuing them, I'll help them along in the pod. We'll give them shout outs and we'll follow their journey as well. What I'm thinking about next is that trying to decide which idea you're going to do can be difficult. And there's a fine line between, there's an argument at the minute between, oh, only do things you love, and oh, you should be passionate about what you do. Yeah, you should, 100%. If you do stuff you hate, you'll lose passion after a while. You can't just do things for money. Having said that, some people can. Some people are entirely motivated by money. So you got to understand what motivates you. And I've read variations of this. Originally back, pointing at the camera for those who watch on YouTube, the 4-Hour Work Week from Tim Ferriss. I've talked about this book a ton of times on the podcast. It's one of the most books I've referred most to. It's a little old now. I'm actually flicking back to see when it was launched. It was launched back in, I've all my notes still written inside. It was launched back in 2007. So it is old, but I still would recommend it. The principles are really, really good. Despite the kind of clickbaity title, it's a really good book. And he talks about dreamlining and setting up your dream goals of where you want to be in a couple of years, in 5 and 10 years. It's a good exercise you should do. I'll link, there's actually a free version of it, which I'll link. If you're on the newsletter, you'll get a free version to actually fill out yourself. And I'm reading this book at the minute called Game Changers by Dave Asprey. He's the founder of Bulletproof Coffee. It's all right. I wouldn't rush out and buy it. There's some good gems in it, but if you've read any of those kind of similar books, a lot of them are very same. And this is just compilation of all his podcasts. But there is one good bit in it, and it's the I think he calls it the $100 million challenge. But for us, I think a 10 million euro challenge is what you should think of. And it's a really clever thing. It's essentially a visualization exercise. So you visualize yourself in the future with 10 million euros. You have already met it, you've sold your business, or you've done whatever you need to do to earn 10 million euros. So what does your day look like? And this is how you flash forward to the future of when you've made it, you've inverted commas. You've got 10 million euros in the bank. You don't have to do anything anymore. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to do that job you don't like. You don't have to pursue that business. You're essentially free in the money sense of the word. And what do you do? What does your day look like? And you should actually write this exercise out. It's worth the next, let's say you listen to this and you have 10 minutes free. It's worth just sitting down with a coffee for 10 minutes and drawing out, what does your day look like? So you've 10 million euros in the bank. What does today look like? So what is Monday? If you're listening to this on a Monday, what does your Monday look like? And then your Tuesday and your Wednesday and your Thursday. Map out what your week looks like. What do you do? What are you spending the majority of your time doing? How are you spending your time? Who are you spending it with? What do you look like? What do you feel like? Where are you living? And map that out and see, if money was no object, what would you be doing? Now this is such a cliche. Oh, money's no object, what would you do? That's a horrible cliche because it's very imprecise. What would you do if you had 10 million euro in the bank? Very precise. What would you be working at? Would you be working? And I'd imagine most people listening to this podcast would, because if you're an entrepreneur or you're wired like that, you'd definitely be working forever. So what do you do? And don't, be honest with yourself. This isn't going to, you're not going to stamp in front of everyone and say, oh, I do charity work. I donate a lot to charity. I'd spend my time helping others. If you don't do that now, you're not going to do that when you're rich. I always think money and alcohol have the same effect on people. They don't change who you are. They just make you more of what you are. So if you're a happy guy when you're not drinking, you'll be happier. If you're a dick when you're sober, you'll be more of a dick when you're drunk. I think money and alcohol have the same thing. So be honest with yourself, figure it out. It's a really, really good challenge. I've done it a couple of times. I actually did it in college. A lecturer of mine did it with us. Really good. We always thought it was a bit woo-woo at the start, but when you actually go through it and you're honest with yourself, do it when you're alone. Do it when you're alone and don't show it to anybody, and be truly honest, and you'll be surprised where you want to go. It's a very good exercise for figuring out what ideas you want to pursue. Why do you want to pursue them? And what is going to get you out of bed every single day to do them. So that follows on from our idea challenge this September, is doing the 10 million euro challenge. So try that. Send me a note on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you are, and let me know how you get on. Do you find it useful? If you do, I have tons of these other challenges I've read in loads of different books, including Atomic Habits, which I'm going to talk about next week. Someone messaged me this week I was talking about how I was mapping out October to December in my planning board. I have two giant whiteboards in my office here. You can't see them obviously, but they're mapped out every month and they keep rolling forward in 3-month cycles. So someone asked me how I do that. Just reaching back to get my copy of Atomic Habits. I use Atomic Habits for everything. Systems, goals. I'll talk about that next week. On to today's second topic, and it's called Yotta Bank. I follow a guy on YouTube called Graham Stephan. He's a financial advisor, money blogger. Actually, if you watch Selling Sunset, don't judge me, it's actually brilliant. Go and watch it first. It's not brilliant, but it's very funny and it's very light watching for these heavy COVID times. He's actually like a background character in that. He never actually gets any screen time because all the glamorous ladies get the screen time. But he is now a very successful YouTuber, and he talks about personal finance and real estate, so I follow him. And this week he was like making a clickbait title about how I bought a bank, and he's an angel investor in this Yotta Bank. But essentially why this caught my attention is that they're doing a genius customer acquisition and customer retention strategy rolled into one. I'm just going to move my mic over here so I can look at the screen as I'm talking to you. So it's called Yotta Bank. So with Yotta.com, WITHYOTTA.com. And it's a bank. It's a savings bank in the States. And why it's different is every $25 saved gets you a recurring ticket into weekly number draws. So if you deposit $50, you get 2 tickets, and every week they do a draw for up to 10 million euros. Dollars. Sorry, it's obviously in the States. Now, if any of you are listening and you're a little bit older, you're going to remember prize bonds, which were not a million miles away from this. I always say what's old become new again. This is genius. And you can refer people on. The more people you refer, the more tickets you get to the draw, the more entries you have, the more money you save, the more entries you get, the better chance you have of winning. You keeping up with me here? So if you keep your money in, you keep getting tickets to the draw. So not only is it a genius acquisition strategy, it's a genius retention strategy. So I love that idea. Not sure how legal that would be here, but I do like to see all the different financial companies doing something different. I think banking is so bloody dull, and there's such monopoly in Ireland. I do like to see the likes of Revolut and people doing things differently. That's today's unique idea. So if you are a startup or a small business, I think looking at your customer referral strategies and looking at your customer acquisition strategies and gamifying it would be a super idea for this week. Use that as your challenge. Go off, gamify, look at how you can improve your referral and customer acquisition. That's it for this week. That 10 minutes flew by. Last week's episode with Pat Divilly is up. I hope you go and watch it. Go and listen to it even. It's a podcast, Gary. It's a really good episode. Personally, I took a lot of lessons from it. I've followed Pat for a very, very, very long time. He is as genuine as you hear in his podcast, and he is that much of a nice guy, and he's real, which is a lot what I like about Pat. He's a very honest dude. We had a very honest conversation. There's a lot in it for you if you're, I think it's a lot in it for everybody at the minute with COVID, and we talk a lot about, coping strategies and how getting through it and how you plan your goals and you just keep on going. So it's a really, really, really good episode. I don't usually go on about episodes this much, but there's something special about this one. So if you haven't gone and listened to it, do give it a listen and let me know if it helps you out, because the podcast is about helping out other people. It's about putting you in a position to learn from some of the best people in Ireland. So I hope that is what it does for you. That is it for this week. I will chat to you on Thursday morning at 5 a.m. for the next long interview. Until then, have a fantastic week. If you're running your business, keep going, come up with new ideas. If you're starting your business, very best of luck with it. I will see you on Thursday. Until then, be good. And that's it. I forgot about you. It'll take me a little bit of time to get used to this. Let me know what you think. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know if you want to see these more often. I'll keep doing them. I'll keep just popping them up on YouTube. I have started watching a lot of my videos on YouTube. I will work here at my desk. Oh, why don't I just show you, because I can't. I work here at my desk. I have two screens, and on this screen I'll generally have a YouTube video playing as I'm working on my laptop. So let me know if you like this. If you like it, we'll keep going. I will see you on Thursday for the next long form interview. Until then, be good. I've said that twice now. Later, YouTube.